Coming soon. This Saturday.
Hello, welcome to Revelation TV. This is Miss Nadia, your host. So today we will be talking about faith and fitness. Derrick Washington. I hope that you are ready to receive the tips that he has for healthy way of walking in health and strengthening your faith through physical exercise. Both bodies and souls are important to the Christian, to a person. Strengthening your faith. So faith is the fuel that will get you to your goal. Invite God today in your health journey will give you the ability to walk in the spirit of self-control, your identity in Him, and what you are saying about yourself can change today. And he has an amazing story to tell us. Besides being a trainer, he also have a story on his own, which I believe that we all have a story. We all have a testimony. If you are living and breathing, God has brought you through. And I'm just ready to hear you, man of God. Thank you so much for coming and welcome to this platform on Revelation 8 TV.
Thank you for having me, first and foremost. Thank God for this opportunity. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yes. So I would like for you to say a little bit about yourself and your story, who you are. And of course, later on, we will be talking about fitness.
Yes, my name is Derrick Washington. I'm 39 years old, a coach of personal training and group fitness out here in Atlanta. My hometown is Montgomery Village, Maryland, a small city in Maryland. It's a melting pot of cultures in what we call the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. My neighborhood was a stomping ground of little athletes and just active kids. Just growing up, running around, playing tag, having a good time, and I just always stayed active from that standpoint. I ran track and field. I played basketball through college and a little bit after college. Um, and I never wanted to stop training myself, right? I never wanted to fall out of shape, so to speak. I always wanted to maintain my physical fitness. And I also had a desire to coach, um, teach, or train other people from that standpoint as well. In the beginning, it didn't work out that way. I ended up falling into a professional career of transportation. I drove 18 wheelers for 12 years, um, over the road and some local work. Um, you name it, as long as it got wheels, I can drive it, right? But I always brought workout equipment with me. Um, I had medicine ball, resistance bands, uh, light weights, um, and that made it easier for me on my stops to stay fit. I kept in mind the workouts I did as a track and field athlete, as a basketball athlete, um, and even earlier on in my life, as a child, about 8 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. So uh, I had to get my back aligned about once a month because with scoliosis, your back kind of winds like a snake. So you need a nice firm mattress. You need to make sure you're stretching right, and make sure that you have good core strength for that back stability. Um, so yeah, aside from my profession with I'm sorry, with driving, um, my daughter last year unfortunately got sick. Uh, she was diagnosed with PVOD, which is a form of pulmonary hypertension. It's a pulmonary occlusive, I'm sorry, pulmonary vascular occlusive disorder. Uh, so I took a year off of working, um, and just stayed by my daughter's bedside in Houston, Texas. Uh, And the thing about that disease is you either get new lungs or you die from it. And she was 11 at the time during this whole process. So, beginning of January up until September, where we finally got new lungs, all praises to the Most High for that. Because in the beginning, they told us, uh, it looked pretty bleak. Her being as small as she is, her being as young as she is, and how fast it was developing. But at the end of the day, they're just doctors, right? They don't have the full say as to, you know, how life goes, right? That's where our faith comes in,
Amen.
um, which is where one of my, how do you say it? One of my favorite scriptures would come in terms of having that faith in God. Hebrews 11:1, right? Having that faith of things unseen and just holding fast to that. And so we reached out to everybody. We had a nice prayer group. My daughter and I prayed every night. And I mean, I prayed for her every night and over her. My family and friends did the same thing, and we greatly appreciate that. Now she has a new pair of lungs, and during that process, I decided to go into health and wellness. I decided to just go ahead and retire from driving. I didn't want to be over the road anymore and away from people. I love being around people. I feel like I was brought on this earth to serve, and God has blessed me with great genes and um, the ability to help people from that aspect. So I haven't looked back since. I've had that opportunity to do that, to move out here to Atlanta and help people become the healthiest version of themselves, both physically and mentally.
Wow. Now, wow, what a story. Because now I just would like to ask you a question on if it's okay with you, because you said that your daughter was sick, very sick, and diagnosed with what is the name of that disease?
PVOD, so it's a form of pulmonary hypertension. Um, you're more than likely to to develop pulmonary hypertension as a woman in your late 30s than you are as a child at 11.
Wow.
They weren't able to tell us how she got it. They weren't able to tell us anything about her mother's genealogy or my genealogy in terms of if there was something that brought that on. It's just bad fortune. But again, just keeping the faith, having uh, a great community of people praying for us day in and day out.
Mhm.
And she's a strong kid.
Now,
She's
there
a
is
really strong kid.
something that you did share with me. Was she when she was born? Was she was born with that disease, or that just came from anywhere? And what
No, it
did the
just
doctor says when they find out about that?
in the beginning we were just under the impression from just other doctors because we didn't see a pulmonologist or anything like that in the beginning that it was just asthma induced because she was having breathing issues, right? She couldn't she was having difficulty keeping up with the other kids, which she never really had those issues in the beginning. She was a very active kid. She did soccer, basketball, you know, at a really young age, and then she got really good at cheer, a form of gymnastics. And man, she, just like any kid, they're in their phone and stuff like that too. But
Yeah.
she got out a lot. She was definitely a very active kid, and then over time, it just she couldn't get from she couldn't go from sitting still to standing up and not be winded. That's how bad it got. So
Right.
it was a tough time for our family. Just trying to keep that faith, right? But then also hearing what the doctors are telling you and looking at the sounds and being stuck in the hospital for almost a whole year. It starts to creep up on you, but you keep that faith. You pray every day. You have a great support group. It makes
Yes.
it a lot easier to get through.
So that support group prayer, we do know that we got. I mean, you can have doctors, you can be in the hospital, but the faith. If you don't have that faith in God, there is no way you can survive something like that. You're talking about your baby. You're talking about a
Right.
child that all of the sudden this disease come up on her, not knowing exactly where it's coming from. If she's gonna leave, how long she has to leave, because you did
Right.
mention a part of that. And I'm talking about that this to bring up the fitness part on this later on, because we can go through so much and our body gets so much attack. Not only, yes, you have to keep your mind spiritually able to stand on in prayer, but physically, how do you maintain yourself? Because a lot of time depression can creep in, so many things can keep in. But
Right.
then by doing fitness, I believe there's a little help from there. If you can assure me and talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So while we were in the hospital, I did one of two things. I was either by her bedside and eating all day, or I was at the gym and working out and eating all day. That was my healthy way of dealing with the issue at hand, right? It was my way of getting out any frustrations, any aggressions, any sadness. Aside from talking to people too, right? Because you got to let your emotions out. If you let all that kind of um, build up inside, it's going to come out the wrong way. And for me, that was the best way to get it out. I used to run a lot, um, but I don't have the greatest knee in the world. I got a couple torn ligaments in my right knee that I never got repaired. But through fitness and just rehabbing it and whatnot, it's a lot better. But I wanted to get that out through just lifting and seeing how much I could push my body in a safe way as well, right? Because I have people that I can work out with. I had accountability partners that kept me in the gym. I met new people out there who became my friends now to this day. Um, so yeah, just staying active and staying consistent in that, staying consistent in prayer, staying
Yes.
consistent in my workout regimen, and the time between seeing my daughter and the time spent at the gym. Uh, you know, what is it? Galatians 6:9. It says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in good season you'll reap." and that's if we don't give up. So, my daughter wasn't giving up. I'm not giving up, and just again staying consistent in those healthy habits. Um,
Yes.
really helped out a lot.
So now I would like to just say if anyone does not comment, I cannot see you. So because of the difficulties that we're having on my system here in this computer, I'm not able to see much. But please comment and share. If you're just coming in, we are talking about faith and fitness. And Derrick Washington is our guest speaker today. He just gave us an amazing story, an amazing testimony how he can remain stable is through prayer to a community of people that pray and believe in God. Now I would like to ask you a few questions about the fitness part because you say that beside being at the hospital, you was at the gym a lot, you was eating a lot. Now we know that during the pandemic, we just allow people work from home, including myself. And basically the fridge has become my best friend. We can just say it that way. And I just started to eat anything and anytime. And
Right.
so to work out, what kind of plan? I would like for you to give us and share with us the plan to work out and what to do to lose weight.
Well, certainly. I mean, the same thing goes for losing weight as it is gaining weight, because there are some people who, um, like myself, I was a very scrawny kid growing up, and all I wanted to do was gain weight. So the same thing goes for losing weight as it is gaining weight. And I would break it down to five things: staying consistent, right? Watching your diet, uh, having realistic expectations, and then hire a trainer as well and stay active. Now, with those things, right, staying consistent, consistency it'll lead you on the road to success, right? No matter what your goals are, as long as you're staying consistent, that's going to top motivation any day. We wake up and we're not motivated to work out, or we're not motivated to go to work, so we don't. But if we're consistent in what it is that we want to achieve, we develop a routine, and that routine um, becomes second nature even when we don't feel up to the task at hand, because we've just developed something that just won't fail because of that routine. And within that consistency, get an accountability partner, right? Get somebody that you trust, somebody that you value, and that values you and your time together. Um, Find that go-to person. Swap encouragement with them. Share tips. They could be following certain people on social media that you're not following, and share something that might spark something in you to stay more consistent, right? And the consistency, it can't just stop at your physical exercise. It has to extend into another important part of your routine, which is your diet. You know, um, like you were saying, sometimes we just the pandemic happened, and all we have is, the TV and food in the fridge. So we're binge watching TVs and binging on our favorite snack or recipe or what have you. But one of the most important parts of your fitness is going to be your diet regimen. Having a great diet is going to set you up on that road to success. Um, it it impacts your body the way. So what you eat is going to have a direct reflection of what your body type is going to start looking like, right? Even if you're a very skinny individual and you start eating a lot, there's a term called skinny fat, right? Where
Oh,
your arms, your legs might be really skinny, but because of the certain fats and poor quality food that you're putting in your stomach, you're bloated all the time, right? And to kind of help fix that, or manage that, keep a log of what you eat, and in that log, you can help yourself determine what to eliminate or what to add. Right? It'll help you also be mindful of when you're eating, because when we eat can also have an effect on our performance in the gym as well. Um, we can again become sluggish, a little bloated or gassy, and now all of a sudden our stomach is bothering us, and we're no longer uh, focused on what we're trying to accomplish in the gym. The last thing anybody wants to do is have the bubble guts and be jogging up and down on the treadmill. It's going to be a quick trip to the bathroom and probably a quick trip out the gym, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, eating is fundamental. If you're bodybuilding, I recommend that you incorporate a lot of carbs before workout and protein heavy meals, right? To speed up that recovery process. Protein shakes are really popular, but for women, you need to pay attention to the ingredients that are in protein shakes,
Oh.
because it's not going to have the same effect on a woman that it would a man, just because of our hormone balances and all that. So, um, depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve, um, make sure that you're looking at the different vitamins, the minerals, and ingredients that are in your protein shake. And I'm no dietitian or nutritionist, and I always recommend people to do their due diligence when it comes to looking up nutritional facts or who it is that they're talking to from a trainer perspective if they don't have the credentials as a dietitian or nutritionist. We're all pretty knowledgeable about nutrition in general and how that affects the body from a general standpoint, but if you want to go deeper in that, I just recommend that you make sure that you find the right person to help you with that. The other thing about your nutrition is make sure that you're eating what we call eat the rainbow. Eat foods that are closest in the rainbow color. Avoid processed foods. Um, I'm pretty sure during the pandemic that was difficult to avoid processed foods. We were just kind of taking what we could off the shelves. I mean, heck, it was hard to find toilet paper, let alone something that we feel like we would be happy or satisfied eating, right?
Mhm.
And the biggest thing is drink water, 2 quarts of fluid per day. So that would be eight ounces of eight ounce glasses of water a day. Um, it's good to help flush your system.
Okay.
And then the last thing I would say as far as like your diet goes is um, when we talk about diet, I don't mean in the sense of going on a diet, but your your eating regimen in general. Um, Personally, I would tell people to stop dieting. I would say instead edit, right? Edit what you eat, make a lifestyle change towards healthier food. You don't want to deprive yourself of foods that you enjoy, but you do want to, if you're not eating as healthy as you should be, and there are some things that are difficult to take out of your day to day consumption, then try it in moderation until you can take yourself off of that, as opposed to engulfing yourself in that meal often or too often during the course of the week. Um, but yeah, aside from your diet, set realistic expectations. Right? We're in we have so much access to other people that we start to indirectly compare ourselves to how somebody else is living their life or how they look, right? I don't look like you, and vice versa. Our body, our genealogy is different. So having the right mindset is imperative to achieving any goal that you want. Um, and with that, if you don't like the output, if you don't like how something looks, change the input, change what you're consuming, change um, maybe the environment around you, right? And with that, create measurable goals you can check off. So if instead of setting something out a year in advance, set something 2 weeks, right? Because if we set something like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds in a year, well, because we know we have a full 12 months, in our mind, we start to think, well, I still have time. Well, I still have time. Well, I still have time. And we just keep pushing that off, as opposed to we set something that is within close range, 2 weeks, and now the wheels are starting to spin, right? It's like, oh, I only have but so much time to get this done. I need to make sure that I have all my P's and Q's in order to accomplish that goal. So being realistic with your expectations, right, directly correlate with being consistent. And if you're wanting to gain weight, or yeah, if you're wanting to gain weight, that means you have to increase the amount of food in your diet. Whereas losing weight, it takes some time. It takes a gradual amount of time, and engaging in healthier choices and higher intensity workouts. We can't just sit there and be sedentary. Uh, your diet is going to be, they say, 80%. I'm going to tell you it's 90% of what you want to accomplish, whether it's you want to gain weight or you want to lose weight. If you're wanting to gain weight, you have to be comfortable with the amount of carbs, the amount of protein, the amount of food in general that you're putting into your system. If you're wanting to lose weight, you have to be equally as confident and ready to be as determined and disciplined in your diet and in your gym routine to boost your metabolism, right? Um, Boost your heart rate during your workouts, your blood pressure, all that. Um, and with your expectations, again, our thoughts are powerful, right? Bring awareness to yours. Do you encourage yourself with positivity, or um, are you holding yourself back with negativity? Right? Changing your mindset could be all it takes to get yourself on track. You know, we often give ourselves excuses for not being able to do something, um, but that has more to do with where our priorities lie, right? So we have to figure out how important is fitness to you, how important is your wellness, how important is living a longer, happier, healthier, easier lifestyle, um, to you, and when it comes to your list of priorities. Um, you know, Changing your mindset could be, again, all it takes. Um, and when we pray, we're required to exhibit positive expectations. Jesus said in Matthew 7, I believe, ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find. Um, but we do that again by exhibiting positive expectations when we pray. So exhibit those same positive feelings and emotions when it comes to what it is that you want out of your workout. When it comes to what you're going to accomplish, keep that positivity. Don't say, I could have done. No, you did do. We can always do better, but at least you showed up today, right? Instead of just keeping it close to the chest and saying, "Oh, I'll do it another time." Set that perfectionism aside. Nobody's perfect. Just keep in mind that striving for perfection can lead to disaster, right? Set again small goals, um, and stair step your way to success by developing daily healthy habits, and celebrate those wins. It's okay to have like small wins in your life and celebrate those. We tend to say, "Oh, all I lost was a pound this week." You lost a pound this week. That's great. What do you mean? You were trying to lose weight. You did that. So be happy about that. Celebrate those wins and keep stacking those wins, because it could be 1 pound this week. It could be 3 pounds next week. As long as you're consistently working out, you'll consistently see those improvements by losing some of the things that you don't, want or need in your life anymore. And yes, I agree, Lanny. Fruits and veggies. Fruits and veggies is big. But also make a list of positive affirmations. I want to live a healthy life. My body is getting healthier every day. Um, Speaking these things into existence, we have a tendency to live those same things out, right? And For those of you, because I do this, right? Don't use, don't focus on the scale, right? And I'm guilty. I'm very guilty of this. You know, I want to put on weight, so I have a tendency to always check the scale to see where I'm at. But your body weight fluctuates day to day, depending on how much water you're putting in your system versus how much water or sweat that you're losing throughout the day. Put the scale away. Find a different way to measure your success. Right. Pay attention to how you feel after you've been working out consistently. And think of those long-term benefits as opposed to stepping on a scale, because you're going to see it and maybe you've lost a pound or maybe you've stayed consistent, but your body composition has changed. But you're more focused on what the scale looks like as opposed to what you can actually see in the mirror. And that's maybe your jawline has gotten smaller, or if you wear a belly chain, you're starting to see the belly chain is hanging a little bit lower on your stomach than it was in the past. So 2 pounds at a time, right? Don't overwhelm yourself with your ideal goal weight. When you're down 2 pounds, let yourself feel proud and think about the next two. Um, you know, Another thing I like to employ with my clients is a self-care day. All right, prioritize self-care at least once a week. All right, just make sure that the treat doesn't sabotage your success. Right, so a self-care day shouldn't be let's all have a ice cream and candy party. You're going to definitely set yourself back with that, or indulging in alcohol, right? Um, I know that might be a big thing for adults is going out and having a drink. Yeah, it's fine. Go out and have, a nice glass of wine or whatever it is, whatever your drink is. Um, but don't overindulge in that, right? Moderation. I would say moderation is key, right? And what will also help with that, with your self-care day, is make a list of bad habits you're willing to give up and good habits that you'll start, right? That'll help with your self-care day in terms of, okay, this isn't how I want to treat myself today. This is how I want to treat myself today. It could be, instead of going out for a drink, treating yourself to a massage once a month, or treating yourself to whatever your favorite band is that is either out of town or in town. But treat yourself. Um, and again, I have to reiterate it: ditch the comparisons. Don't compare yourself or your body to others. Focus on your own progress. Um, Again, with where we're at with social media, it's so easy to get caught up on somebody's slim waistline, their definition. You we don't, unless you know that person personally, you don't know how long it's taken that person to get there. You don't know exactly what they did to get there. Um, so focus on what your journey is and enjoy that ride. Enjoy that journey.
Well
Um,
said. Wow.
last year, my journey was I wanted to put on more weight. I had gotten pretty unhealthy with just some bad habits. Depression creeps in. Um, not being around my daughter as much as I would like, and then knowing that my daughter is getting sick and not knowing what to do, if there is anything that I can do. Um, and I just flipped that all on its head. I told my daughter, I said, because she needed to gain weight for the surgery, she had to put on 30 pounds. I said, well, and I guess we're both gaining 30 pounds. So I put that work in. And I was diligent about putting that work in. I went to the gym every day. I don't recommend everyone to go to the gym every day. That was just something I had the time to do, I set aside to be able to do. And I was in a place and time in my life that I knew I'd be able to do that, because all I wanted to do was go from the hospital to the gym and back. Not everybody, is in a situation where they can go to the gym or be, let alone not burn out by going to the gym every day, right? Um, we we all get a little ambitious about wanting to start up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna work out every day," and it's like, maybe you should start with about 2 or 3 times, and then if you're feeling great, go ahead and pick up an extra day. The next in about 2 weeks, but develop a habit, develop that consistency, develop that routine in the beginning of going 2 to 3 times a week. Um, and then my fourth tip is hire a trainer. You know, as a trainer, we account for so much, from accountability partners to teachers to psychologists to motivators. Um, I say that tongue in cheek when it comes to the psychologist standpoint, but when you're working out with anybody, whether it's a close friend or a trainer, and the trainer gets to know you, you start to open up to that person, right? You either talk about your day, your kids, your plans afterwards, the whole nine. So that accountability partner, that trainer, becomes somewhat of a psychologist, somebody that you vent to, somebody that you trust, because you're already putting your health, right, in our hands. And sometimes you end up developing that rapport with that person, that, I am trusting this person with my health, and he or she is putting me in a great place. And now you start to feel like you can vent to them a little bit more. Personally, I'll never tell you, what to do about your life from outside of the gym and all that other good stuff, but I'll be there to listen. Um, because at the end of the day, you got to sleep with that, right? So uh, I just want anybody that's working with me, and I just want whether you're working with me or not, I want you to be in your best space mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, as often as possible. And one of the best ways to get there is having good fitness, having great eating habits, having great sleeping habits. Um, and a trainer can help you with a lot of that stuff, right? Um, we help ease the burdens of others when we choose kindness, right? Mercy and generosity. Um, and it happens as we take time to listen, to pray, and to help. You know, this is also in ah, this is also in Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you'll fulfill the law of Christ. Um, so again, like I said in the beginning, I feel like God has put me on this earth to serve, and I want to be able to do that the best way
Yes.
possible with all the tools that the Lord has blessed me with. And I feel like that path has brought me into being a trainer. Um, I can help expedite, no, excuse me, expedite your fitness journey. Because whether it's me or another trainer, chances are we've achieved the goals that you or others are already trying to achieve, right?
Right.
Just as you've said, Nostalgia, we all have a story, right? Um, and I hope and pray that my story, my trials and tribulations, the things I've been through, things I've put myself through, um, has helped prepare me to help others who are either going through it right now, and don't know where to start or where to go. Um, yeah, I just hope it helps them from that standpoint, right? And
Yes.
as a go
I,
ahead.
I don't want to cut you off because I know you have keep going on that
Yeah, yeah.
one thing, but there's some nuggets that you have touched that is very, very strong on what we doing and live. And a lot of times, some people might be looking at addicted to food. And at the same time, they want to lose
Mhm.
weight, but then to lose weight, there are certain food that you cannot keep going back to. You speak about alcohol. Some people, it's just
Mhm.
drinking alcohol can cause weight gain, right? Is that correct? Or
Mhm.
what exactly is that due to the body? I know that you are not a doctor or any physician in regards to that, but you
Hmm.
mentioned those things that I think that is very necessary for us, especially pastors, ministers, when we go and minister here and there and travel and don't have time to rest and sleep, and then you go and eat anywhere, anything at any time of the day, that can
Hmm.
cause a health issue. Is that something that basically, instead, like you were saying, instead of eating or drinking something that is not good for your health, you should be exercising? Now, just a quick question for you.
Hmm.
If I don't have the time to go to the gym, what else I can use to help me with my fitness journey?
Well, again, even if you don't have time to go to the gym, the very least you could do is change. Look at your diet. Go into your cabinet. Look at the ingredients that are yeah. Look at I'm sorry. Look at the ingredients that are on the back of your food labels or whatever seasonings that you're using. Right. Look at that sodium count. If that sodium count looks pretty high, it's in the hundreds, then it might be time to toss that out and look at something a lot smaller than that. Because our bodies are like, look at your body like a grape, right? If a grape doesn't have enough amount of water in it, it turns into a raisin. It's the same thing as your body. If you're not fueling your body properly, your body can shrivel up a certain way, right? Whether it's your arms, your legs, you'll become more frail, right? Some people gain weight through stress, right? Because of overeating, over consumption of alcohol. Too much of anything is a bad thing, right? So, yeah, again, in moderation, I would use the 80/20 rule, which is 80% of what you consume should be healthy eating habits, as opposed to 80% of what you're doing is junk. That other 20%, as long as you have that 80/20 balance, you'll be all right.
Yes. So another question I have for you, Derek. I see some great people are coming here. They are saying fruit and vegetable, lots of water, but some people doesn't like water. And I think this is Lani Rodriguez that mentioned that lots of water, and you mentioned that as well. So to basically being in doing the fitness, we have to care for ourselves. We have to care what
Mhm.
we put in the body.
Right.
Um, right.
If you don't like water, drink tea.
Drink tea.
Find you a good tea that'll help. Tea lowers your blood pressure. It reduces wrinkles, and it aids in weight loss. Tea has a lot of healthy components to it. I had a tea with D thing I was doing on Instagram for a little bit, which I may start back up again. But yeah, one of the things I did was I'll always sip tea. I drink tea at least once a day. Um,
At least once a day, right?
yeah,
So,
at
and
least once a
also
day.
showing here, Sula Simon. I hope I said the name correct.
Sula Simone.
Sula Simon. Okay, so
Yeah.
she mentioned the rainbow that you was talking about. Just as a reminder, can you please remind us what do you mean? Eat the rainbow.
Yeah. So I say eat the rainbow because you want to eat food that are closest to rainbow colors, right? Add some yellow, some green, some red. I know my friends are probably laughing at me right now because I'm the last person who should be talking about color because I just see colors differently. But yeah, if you just keep that in your mind when you're grocery shopping, and you're looking at vegetables, fruits, and vegetables, just think eat the rainbow. Look for foods that are closest to rainbow colors. And again, avoid processed foods because they have multiple negative side effects. The fewer ingredients in your food, the better.
Okay, okay, that's something that I must work on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all do, right? You know, changing, realizing that we haven't really been eating healthy this entire time is a difficult thing to do. One, because those options are cheaper sometimes. And, I don't know about everybody else's pockets, but sometimes, your pockets get thin. And you're like, you know, there go those double arches over there. No, it can be just as cost effective if you plan out uh, your meals throughout maybe the week. Even if you're not meal prepping, but just kind of have a system or a routine or a plan as to the time of day of when you're eating, and then even on your route on the way home. You're probably going to be hungry at 5, 6 o'clock when you clock out of work. uh, yes, Andrea, eat the rainbows, not the Skittles.
Right, I thought
um,
about that for a second. Not the candy one. Right.
right. Yeah, even on your way home, instead of waiting at the last minute where those double arches are closest to your house, um, look at the route on the way home and see, okay, this is the most healthiest option. I'll stop here and grab something to eat. Something else that'll help you is eat smaller portions, right? And eat slowly. Uh, somebody told me I need to chew more, but eating slowly, it allows your mind some time to recognize when your body is full, right? So if you're eating really fast and whatnot, you'll feel full, but after you consumed all that food, whereas if you take your time, chew everything, swallow, have a sip or what have you, your body will start to recognize, okay, I think we're good here, and either save that for a rainy day or do what it is that if you're giving it to a friend or what have you. But yeah, take your time in between meals.
Right, that's a good one there. And so before I move on to something else, because earlier I asked you the question, but I don't believe you have responded to us in regards to that yet. I was
Okay.
asking if I cannot go to the gym, do you
Ah,
personally, because you personally have a way for me to train while I'm at home? How can we do that? How can we connect over the phone? Since I'm working from home all the time, and most of the time of the week, I do not come out of the house.
right. So this is something I could speak to really well in terms of just having limited access to equipment to work out. Right. When I drove over the road, all I had was some resistance bands, some good shoes to either go walking or jogging in, uh, and maybe a couple of weights or something like that. Even if you don't have resistance bands or weights at the house, you can still get out and you can still find 20 minutes or so a day to at least take a walk. Right. This leads into my fifth tip, which is stay active. Remain active in whatever you do. A sedentary lifestyle is one of the biggest risk factors in being unhealthy and overweight, right? And again, in today's day and age in social media, you may spend a lot of time sitting down or being inactive. Even where you're at right now, watching this live stream, throw your shoulders back, throw your chest out. We have a tendency to slump our shoulders, whether we're on our personal phone, our iPad or tablet, um, or even at a desk job. We're constantly like this in a very bad kyphotic curve type of posture. Throw your shoulders back, throw your chest up, bring whatever it is that you're looking at to eye level, right? That'll make your posture even better. And then as far as working out and stuff like that at home, you can do a lot of core work with something so easily as a pillow and a chair, right? You can put a pillow in between your feet and stretch your arms back, behind your head, and just do a sit up, bringing that pillow to your hands and then lying back with that pillow behind your head, and then bring it back up to where your feet and your hands meet, and just do that for 60 to 90 seconds, right? And get a nice burn through that. You can use a chair to do tricep dips, right? Um, I'm in the middle of putting together an app right now that'll consist of at-home workouts, hit style workouts, upper body and lower body workouts. I know the ladies love the lower body workouts because they love to work on their legs and glutes. For men, um, we work on legs, maybe not so much glutes, but we prefer to work upper body, right? So I'm working on an app right now that'll have a mixture of all that for everybody, including beginners, to help you get started. Even if you have limited equipment, it'll be user friendly. But yeah, just again, remaining active helps your health tremendously, and it keeps you in a fit mindset.
Right. So I'm glad that you mentioned the app because that will be helpful if you want to sign up for a class, if you want to sign up to do the exercise and the plan that you have in that app probably will
Right.
help me a lot. Just log in, pay on the app and follow the instructions so that I can do my routine. Now, before we leave, because we are about to get to the end of this, I would like to ask you, do you have a plan that we can follow through Monday to Friday or anytime that we get up in the morning to work out? Easy plans,
And an
three
easy plan
steps or five.
Monday through Friday. Um, the first thing I would give you is make sure you have a bottle or a glass of water next to you, so when you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you drink. It's going to be helpful to wake up your body, and just start your day off right. Um, Aside from that, you don't have to eat a heavy meal in the beginning of the day. Last thing you want to do is make your body work overtime, make your digestive system work overtime, because you're just going to end up being sluggish. So having something light in the beginning of the day, um, and so my best plan um, actually comes from um, a gentleman by the name of David Goggins. It was a book I was reading. And he talks about in the book having an accountability mirror, right? And what the accountability mirror does, you write on a mirror or something or a sticker that you're going to see every day, right? And you write down the list of things you're going to hold yourself accountable to the following day. The things that you weren't able to complete that following day, you mark and you write down why you weren't able to complete it and what you plan on doing to make sure you get through that task. I bring this up to say, if you have yourself an accountability mirror and an accountability partner, it's going to make your week progress a lot easier. You're going to find more time throughout the course of the day to be able to do things like exercise, and you're going to find that you'll have more energy to do things like exercise or even do something so small as take a walk. Uh, so I would say have that glass of water, set up an accountability mirror for yourself or an accountability notepad, um, and make sure you get out and get your steps in. Take that 20-minute walk, um, and power walk it. Set up a playlist to keep you going for at least 20 minutes. And then at the end of that 20 minutes, if you feel more energized than you were before you started, then keep going for another 10 minutes. You don't have to overdo it, but I would say go for a walk for about 20 to 30 minutes. Get some fresh air. Do something other than stare at that box that is either sitting on your wall, as at the palm of your hands, or on your desk. Um, yeah.
That's very good.
I
Just
know,
looking
I
at the
know, I know. Everybody's
business.
probably looking for like, but what's the actual exercise? And it's like, well, baby steps, right? If you're not used to being in the gym, if you're not accustomed to working out 2 or 3 times in a day, the last thing I'm going to do as a personal trainer is make you go really hard in the beginning. You want to gradually get up to that. It's just like a job. In the job, they don't just throw everything at you all at once. There's training leading up into getting into the fire, getting into the big mix of things. So gradually take yourself into working out, but start, and if that start means that you're walking or jogging on the treadmill or, a small hit workout, which is a high intensity interval training for about 30 minutes, um, then that's something that you should do too. Jump rope, some burpees,
Yes.
something high intense. Yeah, not everybody likes burpees, but it's great for a full body workout.
Great. Now that you have explained to us how to what the routine could be in the morning, drinking some water, get an accountable
Hmm.
partner, or tablets, or write down things that you can remember to do what you did not do. Thank you
Hmm.
so much for those very good informations. But there's someone else, Andrea Bill. I don't know if I said the last name correct. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. She mentioned
Okay.
something, and I just wanted to put that up very quickly because our time is almost over. But and
Yes.
I also need to translate some of the things that you said in French for French translators later on. She
Yes.
says, "Speak the word over your fitness goal." And this is very important.
Hmm.
Can you encourage someone to now, right now, to speak a word over what they're doing so we can basically stay, because we can set goal and do not remain in that goal. So what can we speak to ourselves?
Uh, Again, I think that goes back into our words of affirmation, speaking positivity into our life, and being focused on that positive thought, right? I talked about Matthew 7, um, 7, verse 7 through 8, and ask and it shall be given to you, right? Speaking that and talking to God about, excuse me, about what it is that um, you want and how to manage that, right? It's one thing to ask for something, but if we ask for something without the ability to maintain and manage what's been given to us, it's all for naught. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, amen,
Yes,
Andrea.
because our body is the temple of the Lord. You have to treat that body exactly how you're supposed to by treating it right. Amen to that.
Yes.
Um, well, thank you very much, Derrick Washington, for coming in here from Atlanta. If you are in the Atlanta area and you like
Yes.
exactly everything that he's saying right now, you would like to connect with this man, again, you can contact him. Please share with us how anyone can contact you. How can we get a hold of you if we would like to train with you?
Yes. So Derek Washington on Facebook, on Instagram. I am D underscore wash underscore train. So that's D underscore TRAINS underscore yeah, D underscore wash trains. I'm sorry. And I'll also have my app up by mid July. So pay attention to the updates on Instagram for that. Yes, again, thank you, Ebony, for that. It's at D underscore wash. That's WASH underscore trains, TRAINS. And we'll have an app coming up shortly on there. So stay tuned, follow. I've got plenty of more tips and stuff like that coming up on my stories and reels. Um, so yes, thank you again for this platform.